But let's dive into this division here. Where do you want to start here with this one, Scotty? I'll let you choose where you want to. Oh, well, first of all, let's start out with the all the different odds to win this division. Let's go there first. So we have one minus in this one, and then the rest are pluses.
Probably like the Lions.
Yeah, you got it. Lions minus 1900. No, I'm just kidding. No, Green Bay Packers are minus 145 to win this one. So that means you have to bet 145 to win 100. So keep that in mind if you're going to bet on the favorite. Otherwise, everyone else is plus money if you bet on them. So Minnesota Vikings, bet 100 to win plus 250. 250 bucks on that one. The next in line is the Chicago Bears, plus 500. And then the Detroit Lions come in dead last at plus 1900. There's nothing good coming out of Detroit in any sport. So that's just where we're at with there. Win totals for these are currently Chicago Bears, 7.5 wins projected. Detroit, 5 total wins projected. Green Bay slotted around 10 wins projected. And then Minnesota's projected to win 8.5 games this season. So, not an awful division. I mean, it's not like, this one is really as bad as the other NFC East that we just covered. But, there's still, it's a little top heavy here with the Green Bay Packers. So, where do you want to start on this one, Scotty? Which team do you want to jump into?
Let's just jump into the pack. Let's start.
Let's do it. Let's hit the favorites. All right. So the Packers finished 13-3 last year. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers will be back for one season. Jordan Love actually didn't play too bad in his first preseason game. However, I mean, you're battling up against Aaron Rodgers, who's one of the best. So with that being said, there's going to be some interesting storylines throughout the course of the season. Obviously, being Aaron Rodgers and the distraction of whether or not he's going to stay the next year. I already can see all the headlines of looking ahead a year, which can take its toll on a team, especially the offseason the Green Bay Packers have had. They've had to battle a lot of storylines with Aaron Rodgers. They've had a lot of distractions when it comes to whether or not, we've talked about on the show what the locker room's going to look like. That is a big factor here, right? So, who knows what this is going to look like. They're projected 3 less wins. But as far as everything else goes, I mean, they have a lot to be excited about when it comes to being one of the better teams who consistently make deep runs into the playoffs. So newcomer/player returning from injury category here is Josh Myers, center, maintaining strong play up front. Will smooth the waters in 2021, whether the O-line is getting back to business as usual with Aaron Rodgers, right? Or, even just protecting Jordan Love. If it's a baptism by fire, if Jordan Love ends up coming in at any point, I don't see that happening outside of a injury or outside of some drama happening. But, we'll keep an eye on, him to make a big, addition to, coming back and being a part of this offensive line. Now, another area that, is going to be a little bit of a battle is corner. When you're the latest and never-ending line of non-wide receivers drafted in the first round by a team whose MVP quarterback is feeling underappreciated, pretty much, people are going to be like, you better be coming around a little bit quicker, right? Especially when you have a chance to solidify a spot, cause a lot of Packer fans some grief when it came to the back secondary of their defense. So the Packers took a little bit of a chance on Eric Stokes, who ranked 50th overall on heading into the list of top 550 list into the draft with 29th overall pick. So we'll see how that ends up panning out. Kevin King, playing on a one-year deal, should have plenty motivation for, kind of getting back on track with things. So, yeah, Scotty, where do you see the Packers, and do you see them living up to the expectations of where everyone else has them in winning this division?
I think the Packers are a fascinating team this year. It's because of one reason and one reason only, and it's Aaron Rodgers, obviously. Listen, when Aaron Rodgers is not happy, I think he's petty enough to just F over a team. And I kind of feel like he might do that this year. Like, coming off an MVP season, listen, he has complained about their roster development. He's complained about not getting the players he wanted. So let's say Aaron Rodgers balls out this year and they win a Super Bowl. If they win a Super Bowl, he's proven great and wrong all at the same time, right? Because he's proven wrong because that roster, in fact, was good enough to win a Super Bowl. I kind of think he doesn't want to win it. I think he wants to. I think he'd rather be right than win.
Conspiracy theories.
Like, that's a hot take. I know that I've never. Yeah. No one's ever said it. I just think he's that petty. He's that he'd rather be right than win a Super Bowl with this roster. I don't think like, listen, before this past year, the 2 prior years of Aaron Rodgers, not that good. Not that good at all. And I think we might see a little more not good this year. He still has the same offense. You talked about center. They lost, maybe one of the best centers of the game to the Chargers. Replacing with Josh Myers, we'll see. Defensively, they're solid, but not spectacular, but not bad. Like, they're a solid defensive team. Yeah. You have the Smith boys, not Clark. Smith boys with Preston Smith and Zadarius Smith. Jair Alexander is an elite corner. You talked about Kevin King. Yeah, past those two, I worry about even Kevin King a little bit. But depth at corner is a little bit of a question mark. But I don't know. They should be, at the same level as last year. I just don't think they will. I think that, people are going to be disappointed with the Packers. Now, they're in a division where there's no reason they shouldn't win this division. When you have, listen, quarterback's the most important position in all of sports, right? When you have Aaron Rodgers versus Kirk Cousins versus Jared Goff versus whether it's Andy Dalton or Justin Fields in Chicago, that's a giant mismatch. But it's kind of weird to me that they're only minus 145, because once again, I think all the money's probably falling on Green Bay. And part of me just thinks Aaron Rodgers is going to get a paycheck this year and be like, ha, I told you so. Our team sucks. I'm out after this year.
Put on your tinfoil hats, people. But no, I will say, I mean, you see it in Twitter. You see it on his Instagram. You see it where he's just like throwing shade in interviews about his coach, about his, little nicknames that he's throwing around about his owner, little nicknames he's throwing around about the coach. Like
he threw that whole front office under the bus in his first press conference.
Man, he's a guy that he don't forget. He's like an elephant, man. He's got that memory like that he don't forget, right? So,
by the way, all he wanted them to do this offseason, well, the last thing he wanted to do is sign Randall Cobb. So, fantasy-wise, we're about to jump into it. I hadn't even thought of this. Everyone should draft Randall Cobb if they can, because he might get thrown the ball 100 times this year. So Aaron Rodgers can be right.
We might take Randall Cobb as our 9th overall pick if that's where we draft.
We could get him later, so that would be a mistake.
Don't follow. We are talking wide receivers tonight, so who knows? Yep. But here we go. I think they're a fascinating team. It's going to be interesting to see. I love your point of how is he going to handle this? Is he going to be a professional, or is he going to be like a child and just do whatever he wants, say whatever he wants, cause rifts? I already see locker room disagreements happen. I can envision seeing an ESPN update saying screaming match in the locker room has to be broken up. I already see it happening. It's on the way. So
I literally golfed on Friday and with a buddy of mine, and then we had a couple with us. Super cool couple celebrating their 5th year anniversary. It was fun to golf with them, but we're like, oh, talking sports, and we're like, oh, what about football? And they're like, we're Packers fans. And I'm like, oh, how do you feel about Aaron Rodgers? He's like, well, I love Aaron Rodgers, and I just had to bite my tongue. I'm like, cool. Cool. Me too.
You got to tell him like it is, Scotty. Tell him about it.
No. It was unnecessary for me to dive in. We're having a fun round of golf. It wasn't necessary for me to ruin everything about Aaron Rodgers for him.
Tell them they need to get on the Twitch account so they could talk about Aaron Rodgers and we can talk trash on Aaron Rodgers. How about that? Until he becomes a Denver Bronco, and then hands off.
I'll throw even more shade.
Well, there we go. So favorites coming in, but we have some other teams we want to discuss here in this one as well. Let's go ahead. Let's dive into another one that I have fresh in my mind, and that's the Chicago Bears coming off an 8-8 season. Now, here is an interesting one because their newcomer is Justin Fields, quarterback, that was drafted here, a number 11 overall, so he dropped a little bit further. Broncos passed on him here. Some other teams passed on him as well. And, he had a decent start. Again, we're taking this with a grain of salt. There's not a lot of tape on these kids coming in, but, we'll see how they end up progressing. However, he's a nice, promising young kid for, again, a team that finished 8-8 last year that are projected to be, around that same win total this year, 7.5. So they're not going to get extremely, boosted from this draft pick by any means. But I think that this is going to be an interesting team to keep an eye on. I'm not going to lie. This is the most excited I've been about rookie quarterbacks in a long time. I can't wait to see what Trey Lance does. I can't wait to see what Justin Fields turns out to be. I mean, top to bottom, Zach Wilson, we haven't talked about him quite yet. Well, we did, but not like, we didn't talk about his first start here. But so many young rookie quarterbacks coming in. But the Chicago Bulls are banking on this guy being their go-to.
Or the Bears. I think you said the Bulls.
Chicago.
Maybe they are. Maybe the Bulls are too.
The Bulls. They're all the same in the end. They all.
Well, they're not because they play different sports. But I see what you're saying.
So I think the Bears need to shore up maybe a little bit more of their defense. Maybe their corners are a little bit of something they need to focus on a little bit and kind of see how those kind of play out here, and what they want to slot in for some of that. But the defense is going to be a big aspect, and then even a little bit of the offensive line as well. But you got some pieces there when it comes to different. Allen Robinson is going to be a great weapon for Justin Fields to rely on over the course of the season. So we have a lot to. I mean, here's the thing though, they got Andy Dalton. There goes their season. There goes their season. He's not even playing, and he's affecting the line. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at with this team. But what are your thoughts on the Chicago Bears?
There's only one thought. Listen, I know it always comes back to quarterback, but you talked about how excited you are about the hype of this quarterback class. The NFL does such a good job of promoting, all the games that were national games yesterday, outside of maybe one, were focused on teams that had rookie quarterbacks that you want to watch, like Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence,
Trey Lance
wasn't one of them, but he wasn't on national TV, but everyone wants to watch him. Zach Wilson, there's a ton of guys. Mac Jones the other night with New England was on national TV. So the NFL is not stupid. That's what you want to watch in preseason, because the games are kind of but you want to watch those rookie quarterbacks and see what they got, even though ultimately these games are meaningless. Even if they play well, doesn't really mean anything. Probably not. If they play terrible, does it mean anything?
No.
Probably not. So although it's meaningless, it's fun to watch and it's entertaining to hey, when he makes a play, they could be dog shit for 90% of their plays, but if they flash for one play, you're like, yes, that's exactly why he's going to be great.
Yeah.
I saw so many memes or comments or tweets about having to watch Andy Dalton before Justin Fields came in for this team, and even Bears fans just being like, ugh, let's fucking go. Like, just bring Fields out already. I don't know. It makes no sense to me. I'm not a huge Justin Fields guy. All reports are he's played better than I would have expected in this camp and preseason so far. But if you're Chicago, just do it. Just do it. Just start Justin Fields. You're even doing a disservice to Andy Dalton by starting him, because you're just throwing in the wolves. No one wants to see him start.
Oh yeah.
I don't think his own team wants him to play, I would guess. So
not a chance.
Just do it. Just start Justin Fields. Is it going to go that well? Probably not. Probably not this year. And I know they do have Allen Robinson on a franchise tag, so after this year they'll either have to re-sign him or he's gone. That's their best wide receiver by far. Outside of him, the depth at wide receiver is not great. They don't have a lot of weapons in general. Their offense is not great outside of Allen Robinson. And David Montgomery's a nice running back, so they have a nice piece there. But just start Justin Fields. It's what the people want to see. Like, listen, he's going to have his hiccups. He's going to struggle with this offense especially. It's not going to go great. But if you're starting Andy Dalton, that just means as a coach, you're worried about your job. And you're worried about wins and losses right now, even though Andy Dalton's not going to get you a ton of wins. So I almost think if you don't start Justin Fields, you're jeopardizing your job even more. Defensively, obviously they have pieces. Akeem Hicks is good. Khalil Mack is elite. Roquan Smith at linebacker is elite. They still have Eddie Jackson in the safety spot. You talked about the corners. That's going to be a big question mark. They lost Kyle Fuller to the Broncos. They lost a couple pieces, but everyone just wants to see Fields, and just start Fields from day one. It would be a tremendous mistake from a guy who came from the chief staff and Nagy to be the head coach over there. Just start Fields. Like, he has the upside. He's gonna make plays outside of the script. Andy Dalton is at this point like below serviceable. Like, he won't make a ton of huge mistakes, but he'll still make mistakes, and he's not going to make any plays outside of the script. And with this offense, you're going to need a guy that's outside the script. I think Fields will make a ton of mistakes, but start Fields. Chicago will struggle regardless, but let's make them entertaining at least.
Yeah, and he had a nice little scramble for a touchdown. He played all right. So, I feel like, again, you can take it. Just take a step back and realize what you're watching is preseason football. It's not, again, like you mentioned, bad performances, good performances. None of it really, gives you an idea of what they're actually going to be until they get that real experience and they start getting thrown into the fire a little bit, drinking from the fire hose, right?
I'll ask you this question. As a Bronco fan, do you want Fields to be good?
No.
Yeah, you shouldn't, right? Because you could have taken him. No. Obviously, you have a quarterback issue, and Fields was there for the taking, and they took Pat Surtain the second, which is fine. But if Fields is good,
well, here's the thing.
A disaster.
Here's the thing. If both players, and we saw Patrick Surtain come in, and he got a pick six, which, great. Obviously, again, this falls into the same category we've been talking about. It doesn't really matter. Does he be showing a lot? Yes. In camp and in, whatever. He's starting to all piece itself together. However, if you tell me that both of these players have good careers, then we messed up by picking the corner. Because whether or not he's going to get picks and stuff, that's not the position that wins games mostly in this league. Sure, can a corner win a game here and there? That's fine. Yeah, a defense can win championships. It's possible. But if you're telling me both players have the same trajectory of having good careers, then we messed up on our pick, and we should have picked Justin Fields.
Yep.
So well, I don't want him to
let you go ahead and root against him. Listen, I wasn't high on him in the draft, so I thought I wasn't in love with Justin Fields. All reports are he's played well in camp or whatever, but I wasn't high on him.
Yeah,
to be honest.
So we'll see what his career ends up panning out to be, because if he does have a good career, then it's gonna we're going to look back on this moment when when we passed up on him and the Bears took a chance and took him. That was what made their trajectory of being a successful franchise. So fingers crossed, Bronco fans. You want to, I mean, Patrick Surtain's great, but not winning football games with the corner position. I'll tell you that. The next one, speaking of corner, and speaking of a team that needs to figure out their corners here, is the Minnesota Vikings. They finished 7-9. They're projected about a win and a half more this season than last season. But they finished 7-9 in 2020. One of their most important battles is corner. And that one's going to be for a team that finished as graded by Pro Football Focus as 27th worst coverage group in the NFL. They did have Patrick Peterson, which, he's at a crossroads. He's been around for a bit, but, is he going to be anything that they really want him to be? Or, what's he going to pan out to be? Because obviously, he's getting a little older and, that position, it's a tough one if you can't keep up with the speed of some of the young wide receivers in the league nowadays. But slot opposite of Peterson, ex-Chief, your boy, Rashad Breeland, brings some experience there. So, they're trying to figure out how they can improve that 27th worst Pro Football Focus coverage defense in the secondary. So that's a big one. They obviously, on the defensive side, defensive end, Danielle Hunter, who he's a stud. He's going to be coming back strong from injury in 2020, basically, which just wrecked his season. So he seems to be happy. He's still just 26. So he's young and he can still do a lot in the league. So that's where we're at. Plus, offensively, Kirk Cousins is coming back. You have Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook. So, they have some pieces on the offensive side of the football. There's a reason why they're second picked to win this division. So
Justin Jefferson.
And Justin Jefferson, by the way, breakout wide receiver, Justin Jefferson. So, so much to be excited about offensively if Kirk Cousins can be the guy, right? He's the guy that, you can't really trust him very much because of how inconsistent he can be. So, they paid him a lot of money, and is he worth the money that they've paid him so far? I don't think so. But, hey, he's got to turn it on at some point. So this is going to be... I feel like Kirk Cousins needs to do something quick here. Otherwise, I just don't know how much patience they're going to have with him. He's got to get something going.
I think it was like a 3-year, $90 million deal. So I think this is the last year he's under contract. So it's important for him. And at least the Vikings are like off the hook after this year if they want to be. You want to hear something wild? The Athletic, which is obviously a site you pay for, right?
Yep.
Ranked all the defenses coming into this year, what they projected be the best defenses 1 through 32 in the league this year. Where do you think they rank the Vikings? If you had to guess.
Maybe 9th? 10th?
First.
Wow.
They admitted, they even say last season, 18th best defense in the league. But they're like, they had bad injury luck. Daniel Hunter was hurt last year. Fine. Michael Pierce at defensive tackle hurt last year. Fine. They added, oh my goodness. Sheldon Richardson and Dalvin Thompson. They still have Kendricks and Barr at linebacker. That's fine. I agree with you. I think their back of their defense with their secondary is very suspect at best.
Yeah.
This blows my mind that someone would rank the Minnesota Vikings. Part of them, they even say on paper it's probably not the most talented group, but Mike Zimmer's a great coach. I agree. Mike Zimmer is a great coach, especially on the defensive side of the ball. He will shore some things up where there's weaknesses. But when you have Patrick Peterson, Bashaud Breeland, who, listen, love Bashaud Breeland, had a couple nice years in Chiefs. He's good in coverage. He'll make some plays, but he also gets called a lot for defensive penalties because he's pretty handsy. He gets his hands on guys because he's not quite the athlete, doesn't have the speed to hang with some guys sometimes. So he gets called for some penalties that don't show up in the stats. Like, it's laughable to me to rank this defense as the number 1 defense with the Athletic. Like, I don't know who wrote this article, but they should be probably fired on the spot for ranking the Vikings as the number 1 defense. The name is Sheil Kapadia. I don't know who that is.
They know football, right?
They don't know football because you know who they rank second?
Denver Broncos.
They rank the Denver Broncos too, and I'm just like, what are we doing here?
What are we doing? I mean, Broncos are a top 5 defense from on paper.
Are they?
On paper, I feel like they have to be. You got to admit they're up there in defense this year.
I like their secondary. Their linebacking core is a huge question mark.
No, their linebacker, they can't.
Their defensive line, to be fair, is still a huge question mark because you have Von Miller, who's aging, coming off. Bradley Chubb didn't have a great year last year.
No.
And then your defensive interior is kind of just a guy who bats passes down. That's what he does. What's his name? I'm drawing a blank on his name. Your D tackle that basically gets paid to bat passes down.
I'm not going to lie. I can't really think of his name at the moment.
Fine. I don't listen. Top 10 for sure. 2? No.
Yeah, I mean, 2 might. I mean, I feel like they're top 5 defense. I don't know where they land in the top 5. I don't think they're the best defense. I don't think we're off topic with the Broncos, but I digress. The fact that the Vikings are number 1 is kind of crazy, though. Deb and chat, I wouldn't use Cousins as a backup on fantasy. Yeah, that's true. A lot of people might not. I don't even know if he's going to be on a lot of rosters this year. We're going to touch on that. Fantasy football coming up here shortly. Don't go anywhere. Broncos defensive is going to be stepping up this season. Yeah, I do think they will be better for sure. It's just whether or not, there are some questions. We can't stop the running game for Denver, and stopping tight ends is awful. Guess what tight end lives in our division as one of the best in the league, if not the best in the league?
They have 2 of the best 3 in the AFC West.
And it's Travis. It's not Kelsey. Kels. Travis Kels.
It's Kelsey.
It's Kels. You don't even know your own tight end's name.
That was a joke. That was a whole joke.
Anyways, so we'll see how the Minnesota Vikings end up panning out here in their division with competing for that top spot against the Green Bay Packers. Again, the Packers are a wild card. You never know how Aaron Rodgers is going to affect the team. So this could be an opportunity to kind of get yourself and put yourself in a position where if something happens, you're not too far behind in this division to make a run at that top spot. And this is their year to possibly take advantage of something that could go seriously awry there.
By the way, you talked about NFC East being the worst division. I think the NFC North will give them a run for their money this year.
As the worst division?
I don't think this is a good division at all.
Yeah.
I don't like any of these teams this year.
It's
and we haven't reached the last team, and I'll tell you how much I like them.
I bet you love them a lot, and that's the Detroit Lions are final team on our list to cover tonight, and they finished a whopping 5-11 in 2020. So obviously not great. Obviously they're just a train wreck, and there's a reason why, because they're dysfunctional, right? They can't really put together anything worth. I mean, we see them on Thanksgiving, and that's great. But outside of that,
is it great?
No, maybe not. It's not that great. They need to mix up those Thanksgiving teams, by the way. I know.
You can even keep the Cowboys on. Just get rid of the Lions.
Yeah, they just have to be off of there. They're projected to win 5 games this year, and I mean, maybe that's a little bit generous. I don't know. I think that we might go the under on this one because I don't know where they're going to end up panning out. But it's not going to be anything higher than 5, I don't think. Jared Goff comes in to a team that, who knows what you're getting with Jared Goff after coming out of a team that is quarterback friendly when it comes to the coach in the Los Angeles Rams. And obviously you can make a lot of good quarterbacks. He made backup quarterbacks look good. So what did he do for Jared Goff? So in this sense, what is Detroit really getting? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm pretty low on Jared Goff here, but I think that's going to be a big one to keep an eye on. Brashad Perryman, Tyrell Williams are the options there when it comes to wide receivers, so you got to figure that out. That doesn't strike me as spectacular at all. Tyrell Williams was like the third choice in the Chargers organization, and he never got above that. He maybe had a couple flashes, but he never got above, third string wide receiver. And Brashad Perryman, what's he done recently, right? He hasn't exactly had a great last couple years, if not at all in his career. So you have nothing to be excited about there. I don't know. I just don't see offensively how this team can hang with anybody. And I don't know. Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift, their latest running back that they took, should make the Lions feel a little bit better about the running back picture. So, but honestly, that's all you can really look at. New offensive tackle, Penny Sewell. Nice name that they got. They have some nice little players. It just doesn't feel cohesive enough to me. You have just a bunch of pieces in random places that kind of fit, and that's about it. So I don't see this team doing anything this year. We're not talking about kneecaps today, by the way. Are we talking about kneecaps?
Just eat someone. What does he say? Like eat someone's kneecap or something? Like,
I don't know.
Bite at it or something. And you didn't even touch on the coach, the new coach, Dan Campbell.
He's nuts.
This Detroit team is my pick, and let's give it up, to have the number 1 pick in the 2022 NFL draft. This team is a disaster.
So Detroit is number 1. They are number 1.
Number 1 in something, which is in the draft, in my opinion. They will finish with the worst record in the NFL this year. Jared Goff, not going to be able to hang. Like, you lost Stafford, who was probably their best player. Not probably, was their best player. And Dan Campbell is an idiot. Like, the worst coaching hire. Like, I feel we had a story or a meme or a GIF or something about Detroit sports teams and how bad they are in general these days and how bad we feel for them. But hiring Dan Campbell is a disaster. This guy's a disaster. They looked awful in their first preseason game. They drafted Penny Sewell, the first offensive tackle taken in the draft, and they're moving him to right tackle. You know how to ruin a career of an elite offensive tackle is make him switch to the other side. What are they doing? Like, leave Penny on the left. You picked up, fine, Taylor Decker. Move him to the right. He's a has-been. He's older. He's beat up. He was hurt last year. He's not elite. Why would you take a guy with your number 1 pick, like I think they had 5th overall in the draft, and move him to the right side? That's idiotic to me. You're not helping him progress. The defense is garbage. The offense is going to be garbage. Everything about this team is going to be garbage. I feel really, really good about them being the worst team in football this year.
We don't need to spend much time on it. I think you're not wrong, and I think there's a lot of people that agree with our take on how bad they're going to be. Nothing works. Nothing fits here. We'll take the under on 5 wins. Maybe I'll give you a heads up. That's probably an under. Spoiler for our final show. Who knows? Maybe something happens but no. We'll give you one teaser there. Other than that, this team should be pretty built for the Packers to lose, and it's possible that they could lose it. So have fun in this one, guys. If you like soap operas and you like dramas, this is the division for you. This is the division where you can see, the Bears and the Vikings having a chance based off of a dysfunction of a team at the top. But then you also have some crazy storylines at the bottom of it. Oh man, it's gonna be entertaining to say the least. Maybe not for football.
Yeah, bad division overall in my opinion, but entertaining nonetheless.
It might be
whether it's entertaining because it's bad or entertaining because a certain quarterback throws some games or because a Chicago team for no reason plays a redhead who's not good,
or
I don't know,
a coach,
it's a dumpster fire or a little bit,
or a coach eating people's kneecaps. I don't know.
Yep.
So
a dumpster fire is still fun to watch.
Well, that's what we have for you